Hey guys, and we are finally back. Exams finally finished. We're back out here with our first ever award show for Corner Flag Talk. It has definitely been a memorable season. I know for you it has definitely been quite rewarded, for others not so much. But it has definitely been a good season, going all the way down to the wire. We saw some tears, we saw some joy. And all in all, it was probably one of the most memorable campaigns I will ever see. First time since Manchester United has done it, we have seen a back-to-back champion. And at the point of recording, just 2 days ago, Manchester City became the first ever male team to accomplish a domestic treble. But right now, we're going to focus on the Premier League, and we have for you guys our first ever PL award show. So to kick it off, we're going off with the big award, the Player of the Year. So how this thing is going to work, you guys, is that we are going to call out our nominees for the categories, and you guys get to choose via our Instagram who you think between our nominees deserve the award. So Virgil, I'll let you go first.
Alright, for me, for my Player of the Year, I know I don't want to start with something biased or anything.
Not like you have on the jersey or anything like that.
Nah, but that guy, the player who you think I'm talking about, he deserves it, but I have to go with Van Dijk for my Player of the Year. Just looking at that, I feel like most football fans and Liverpool fans will more look at Alisson, who has got the Golden Glove.
Right.
They more look at him getting that free clean sheet, but I feel, looking more in depth, I feel like Van Dijk was more pivotal for Alisson even getting those clean sheets.
Yeah.
Van Dijk was just a rock in that defense and made Alisson look good and made the whole defense look good. The whole defense had that presence to organize, keep the defense organized, and it showed throughout the entire campaign, even the negative results that they got with draws. Mostly draws that they got were 0-0 draws. And that was still Liverpool attacking, but teams hit them on the counter attack.
Yeah.
He was keeping the defense composed and organized throughout the entire campaign.
And when you look at how he played, you see a complete player. You look at his passing is very underrated. He's quite good on the ball. He has racked up a decent one to six, I think it's around 4 like that.
Yeah.
And they win pivotal games. So you look at the one versus Chelsea, the assist versus Salah.
Yeah.
We saw pivotal. He has been in this entire run. His very scuff volley that turned out to be a goal versus Everton when Pickford made a mess of it and Origi scored. So my Player of the Year also was Virgil van Dijk, because I do think that when it came down to the fact that if you had to remove any player from their team, who would have been the hardest to replace, and I think he was up there with how transformative he has been, where we look at how leaky Liverpool were before he arrived, and we know that he arrived last year. But even looking back to then, we look at how leaky they were. I remember the opening day of that season, they finished 3-3 versus Watford. Now we look at them, they're undefeated at home, they have the best defensive record in the Premier League, and it's all down to the Dutchman. For the sake of keeping it different, I'm gonna say Sterling then as my nominee though. Raheem Sterling has definitely come into his own this year, in terms of not just goal scoring, because we saw how much better he got at it even last season, but I think he became a lot more versatile in the sense that he wasn't just tapping in goals, but his runs became a lot more intricate and well timed. His dribbling became a lot harder to predict, and he's been one of the hardest players to mark in the Premier League this year. A slight drop off at the end of the season, but all in all, it was a fantastic campaign from the Englishman. I know we focused on the Premier League, but we saw his hat-trick in the FA Cup final. We saw how phenomenal he was against Spurs in the Champions League, even though ultimately City were knocked out. And I think rightly so, he got plaudits. I don't think that the Young Player of the Year should be the criteria it is, but given the criteria it is, nobody else was more deserving than Raheem Sterling.
And just to add on that quick, I feel like looking at that category for people watching, it really does come down to those two, Van Dijk or Sterling. And we look at both them in two different worlds, Van Dijk defensively, Sterling offensively. But just touching up on Sterling, his game really improved, and that's the standout thing. Not what he did this season, but looking back on the past seasons, how he improved under Guardiola. And for him, looking at those games you mentioned, for him being this pivotal man and just being that go-to man to grind out results and being the one to lead the side to victories.
Yeah.
So I feel
And
like
I think also too, like in our generation where we have the talents of, Messi and Ronaldo, we forget how important goals are to some extent, in the sense that, they do it on such a regular basis that now when we see players chalking up 20 goals a season, we don't really take it on. And when we look at the drastic changes in the last 3 years and the incremental increases in his goal output and even assists, we don't appreciate how much he has developed as a player, So the next category we have here is Manager of the Year. I'll kick us off first. I have gone for Wolves manager Nuno. I know it's easy to say that he has a well put together squad. People say if you put a Porto kit on these players, you won't really know the difference. But I think it's very easy to underrate the work that he has done. He has managed to get a result against each one of the big six in terms of all competitions. Liverpool was the only one to just get away from it in the league itself, but were caught out on it in the FA Cup. They have managed to put the big six to the sword on multiple occasions. He has managed to get the best out of a lot of these players like Jota. They brought in Jimenez. We have seen many occasions where Latin American players, Mexican players don't always acclimatize well to the Premier League, and Jimenez has been a wonderful signing for them. And I think that his work needs to be accredited. He said before he started the season that the aim was Europe, and you don't really hear that from a promoted side, but yet here we are. The season has ended, has taken some results from other people like Watford failing in the FA Cup, but they are now in the running for the Europa League next year.
Well, for me, for my man of the year, I had to give it to one man, and that had to be Pep Guardiola.
I understand.
Because when most people look at them, be like, okay, just look at him, the size he had throughout the years, Barcelona, Bayern, City, sides that already made and put together, sides that have a big budget. But to come in England and smash all the records he did, and he made comments this week saying winning the domestic treble is harder than winning Champions League. And most people fight down for that. Champions League, compare the two competitions, Champions League and the domestic treble. I really do not think it calls for any fight down with that.
Right.
Because the grind, the English schedule. It's not like in Netherlands where they're giving them breaks. Not like in France and Spain where they
it's true. And nobody else has. We don't have a winter break either.
And for that team, for him to keep that side together, rotate, keep players happy, and push on, grind out those consistent results for 4 different competitions, just fell short in Champions League, but to grind those results in 2 cups. And we all know the cups in England. We all know the cups is a big team is not guaranteed favorites to win a cup.
Yeah.
And we know in the Premier League, keeping pace with a Liverpool side that did their best in years and still managed to pip them to the title.
Mm-hmm.
I feel and Manchester City was when we were we were 7 points behind. For him to grind and keep motivating the players and keep refreshing it, because it's good. He used to figure out a manager. He used to figure out the tactics, and everybody know just don't get the space and just keep and play attacking football against them, and people assume that's all it takes to beat City.
Right.
No, but Pep always change something. He always tweak something, like little things when he put Laporte left back, and the big thing that did for the Liverpool game, 3-2-1 win.
Right, yeah, I remember that.
Small things like that, and just the rotations and constant things he's doing and constant improvements his side. Like for that, and to have 198 points in 2 seasons, a Premier League title, out 5 trophies in 2 seasons, not counting the Community Shield. I just feel that's a big. Just the domestic treble speaks for itself. And
based on his comments last week, now I do think he should have fight his case. So I get what he said. But I do think that there is some merit to what he says, that it is harder to maintain consistency over 38 games, whereas maintain consistency over 6 games in the group stage, or 4 games, 5 games in the knockout, something like that. And I do think that at the end of the day, the champions, they will always be the ultimate measuring stick. You know, we look over in Italy, where Allegri has lost his job basically on failure to provide quality competition in the quality progress, in the Champions League, even though they have gone on to retain their titles 8 times, first time any team has done that in the top 5 leagues. But I do think that the work as he has done, especially this season, is a little bit more underrated. You know, last year they ran away with the league, so it's a little bit easier for him. But this year, like you rightly said, they fell 7 points behind. And as we've seen in previous campaigns, with the exception of the Leicester campaign, we've seen teams that eventually went on to win the title, pick up speed, and left for the title, you know. And it was easy for Pep to just watch that 7-point difference and be like, okay, at this point in time, he's still in the FA Cup, still in the Carabao Cup, still in the Champions League. We'll go for these other things. It's easy to say 7 points would have been too much to make up against a Liverpool team that at that point in time did not lose a game. And to, like you rightly said, keep motivating the players, keep the players after, beat that team that beat them, to force them to drop in points and eventually see them drop 2 points here, drop 2 points here, drop 2 points here, drop 2 points there, and eventually make up that difference. And I think the work that Pep has done to keep those players going has been phenomenal, because like you rightly said, Liverpool went out in front a good bit, and a lot of people are saying that Klopp is a better manager. And where I can see the strengths and weaknesses to both arguments, I think Klopp did not do enough to keep his players grinding to get that extra point. And I know there are a lot of things that fell City way, but there are a lot of things that fell Liverpool's way as well. We look at the offside goals that Mane scored in a couple 1-0 draws. We look at the company thunderbolt that he probably would never ever score again in his career. And you need to take the breaks when they get there and take advantage of them. And I don't feel like Liverpool always did that, which is harsh to say, I know, about a team that only has 1 loss for the season. But the idea, it's the 3 points that count, and it's how often you can get them. Next category would be most entertaining game of the season.
I'll start off that one. Looking back, I remember this game, disappointing. We just came off our loss to Crystal Palace, but I'll have to give it to Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Liverpool 4-3 win.
Yeah, but
that's
something else.
Goals back and forth, and just for Liverpool to snatch that win. I think it was the last. I know it was the last minute in extra time, probably the 19th minute or something.
Yeah.
A Mane goal. That was the hope. That was when everybody thought, okay, the Liverpool side might have a little more weakness to them, but just the spirit Liverpool showed to get that fourth goal. Like that game, I'm watching that game. I was like, okay, if Liverpool does go on and win the title from a game like this, I gotta give it to them.
Fair enough. So I was actually stuck between 2 games. The Arsenal versus Spurs game back in November, where it finished 4-2. You know, not just because it was Arsenal and being an Arsenal fan, but because, you know, these derby games tend to be so intense, and it's really easy to get caught up in them. And especially when you see goals flying left, right, and center. It was really, really a good game. Arsenal took the lead, then Spurs took the lead, and Arsenal leveled through a really, really good overall goal. Then Arsenal took back the lead, then there was a red card in the game. The game had almost everything. But I think the game I had to give it to was Wolves versus Leicester, in a game that also finished 4-3, where Jota scored a hat-trick. And I think, not that he wasn't playing good before that, but that game really, really kick-started Jota's season to go on to score into much more important games, like against United and against some of the bigger clubs, you know. It was a game that was back-to-back, end-to-end, and it was the kind of game that neutrals really enjoyed, and I enjoyed as well. It was a game that ultimately just kind of added to the pressure to Claude Puel, who eventually lost his job as Leicester's manager. But it was a really, really good outing from Wolves. And, you know, when we think about the Premier League and how competitive it is, attacking football is getting so much more trendy, in the sense that these smaller teams aren't coming up to play cagey football. We see a team that ultimately suffered from trying to play expansive football in Fulham, but these teams they're not coming up to block up 10 men behind the ball and lob the ball up to one guy and hope they can nick something. Teams are coming up to play football, and this is the result of teams trying to play football. Our next category for the evening would be defining moment. Now this moment could be a defining moment either in the title race, in the top 4 battle, in the battle for one of the smaller teams to try and crack into the top 6 or 7 in worst case, or it could be a defining moment in the relegation battle. For me, my moment was a moment that had implications on the top 4 race and on the race for relegation, to stay out of the relegation zone. And that was Chelsea versus Cardiff at Cardiff, where Chelsea nicked a 2-1 win in the very, very dregs of the game. Reason being, we see VAR being implemented all over Europe now, implemented in the FA Cup games that took place at PL grounds, and we see that it hasn't taken away from the controversy which people were saying, but it has helped to align some decisions to make them a lot more easier to see the correct ones come to pass. And in this game, the officiating was really, really poor in allowing Chelsea a goal that was about 2 yards offside, which is a pretty big gap, Virgil. I mean, you expect officials to see that. And eventually Chelsea went on to score a winner through Loftus-Cheek. Rudiger could have easily been sent off in that game as well. And that game had implications for both the top 4 and for the relegation battle. Reason being, at that point in time, that win allowed Chelsea to stay level on points with Arsenal, who in 4th at the time, 4 points behind Spurs. Both of which, as we saw the season pass, they eventually passed to become 3rd place and finish a point above Spurs, 2 points above Arsenal. And that was 3 points gained on that day. We also saw that Cardiff were unfortunately on the losing end of a game which they really didn't deserve to lose. In a game where they end up being relegated by 2 points. And I really think it's harder to find a much more defining moment on that. Chelsea went on after that to find a little winning streak. Not consistently, but a lot more wins than the others in the top 4. But at the end of the day, you don't know how teams would react to certain things. And in that moment, that allowed Cardiff to drop 2 points where they came into that game in decent form. I think at Christmas, which a lot of people were saying, Cardiff would have been relegated for sure. And at that point, they were going into that game 3 wins out of 6. And, winning 1-0 up until the 83rd minute. Chelsea were doing utterly nothing. You managed to hold your offside line right, and you're expecting the officials to just do their part, and they didn't.
For my pick for the most defining moment, I give it to the same vein as the last one. I give it to the Liverpool versus Leicester, the 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Just looking at that, I just saw that's when everything kickstart for the title race, for entertainment in the title race, and that was the little dip in form that Liverpool didn't want to experience, and City fans was waiting for. Just coming off the 2-1 loss to City is when Liverpool had started this whole dropping points, and in a way of dropping points by just drawing, no significant losses. I remember from after this moment, because this kick-started the whole, every time they go down a goal or a team score, you could just sense that whether it was home or away, but home and field would just get a little nervous.
Yeah.
And Liverpool players would start to get nervous. I just know after that Leicester game, then they had the 1-1 draw to West Ham. And in those 2 games, they ended up dropping 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
And after losing to City, that was allowed City to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And that just brought the title race back in a whole different swing.
Yeah.
That brought back the energy to the title race. But more so, just stretching further from that game. I know after all that they had the whole draw with Everton, but after that, that's the type of spirit Liverpool had showed to bounce back. It had other games where they conceded, and Liverpool was like, okay, they knew that. All right, I can't remember what the game it was and who it was, but I remember every game after the West Ham game, every time they go down, you could see Van Dijk, Henderson, you see Salah and everybody like, okay, the whole mindset changing from just dropping down. Everybody was just going on because they know what they're fighting for. They know that all right now, all they know they're slipping, but they're still in our hands. We can push. But just from that moment, for me, me keeping track of the title race whole season, I just felt like that moment would open up the title race, and that just brought back. That just when everything changed. Right now is nothing, just one person's hand. It could go either way.
And I feel like, this really showed Liverpool's, on this podcast, on this show, we always talk about mentality a lot. And that showed a little bit of the mentality, You lost to City, you regroup, and you go again, right? You draw 2 games back to back, and then afterwards you drew games back to back. And they just never had enough to take advantage to win the title, because it was in their hands. And City were leading early in the season, but as early in the season, once Christmas crosses now, then after that it's definitely about getting results, and that's where coming into play where Liverpool weren't exactly as free-flowing in attack as they were last year, started to impact them. And we look at especially, that United game where United had 2 injuries in the first half, or 3 injuries, something like that. Rashford had to play the second half injured, and which had implications later on in his form for the rest of the season. And I mean, you can't take advantage of a broken down United team. That was really bad, A more light award here is goal of the year. Take it away now, Virgil.
For goal of the year, I have to give it to. It's tough here. It's gonna make me some bias again. But everybody, I know I can guess.
So that's why you wear the jersey today, then?
Come on, no, I win jersey ever since we win the title. I bring her jersey up here with, alright. Anytime you wanna go online, man, not a real football fan, I show no my jersey. But I had to give it to company against Leicester.
Yeah, well,
just knowing, just after everything happened this week, our company come out announcing that he'll be leaving the club after 11 years and going back to the boy club, and just knowing that at his age, this is probably the one stat that I don't think much people took into that goal was that was the first time company had a shot outside the box since 2013. And a player of his age. And
that's crazy.
In the interviews, he said, everybody, how City tried to play pass on the ball and just try to make that, they try to have the perfect goal.
Yeah.
Company, they send everybody to them, don't shoot. And company, no, guys. Company has scored a lot of goals in training. And for them just pull out at that moment, then that was a special goal. And that goal was probably the goal that stayed as the title.
And even from a neutral's point of view, I've always had respect for company in the sense that he has defined leadership in a lot of ways, especially for people of this generation watching football who didn't get to see Tony Adams, didn't get to see John Terry in his prime, didn't get to see Roy Keane, the Vieiras. He definitely is an embodiment of what you want as a captain and a leader. And that is the definition of taking the game by the neck and carry a team across the line, Man City has won 4 Premier League titles, and he has been the captain for every single one of them. My goal of the year, and this, now it was really easy for me to give it to Townsend versus Man City because it was amazing, the moment, the implications, everything. But if you know me, and yes, part of this being an Arsenal fan is that is the type of football you like is what a goal of the year comes. It comes into what you like. There are people who like thumping headers into the top corner. There are people who like volleys. And for me, I really, really love passing football. And 1-2s in and around the area, pass around a team, make a team look like nothing. Which is why I had to pick Aubameyang's goal versus Leicester, the second one. Passing came straight out from the keeper all the way to the front. Ozil dummy around one. Lacazette passes it back into the box. Ozil scoops it over Schmeichel and over, just taps it into the empty net. I really love parts of football. Norwich, Wilshire's goal versus Norwich, back in the days, still one of my favorite goals. The easy one to football in around the area, and that's why I have watched that goal over and over again because I just really love to see that kind of football. There were some contenders out there for this.
Yeah.
There were some really good goals this year. I actually just like off the top of my head, I know for a fact for goal of the weekend I have chosen Sigurdsson multiple times, so I know that he has scored a good bit of goals. But you know, I just think this is one of those awards that just comes down to your personality, what you like.
And just shout no 2 contenders quick. You can one check it out on all the free time. Salah goal against Chelsea.
Yes, definitely.
And Gundogan goal against Manchester United. Everybody touched wrong. I can't remember, probably 30
Oh yes.
passes.
And that's the Bernardo Silva dink into the box. Yes.
Simple finish.
And I want to try next contender out there, Hazard versus West Ham, and Andrew Shearer. I can't remember who it was against. I think it was probably Burnley. Touch and volley. You know, Andrew Shearer shoots from places he's not supposed to and scores.
That's even touch you one.
Next category would be the Steal of the Deal Award. This is where we look at transfers that happened over the course of the season, summer and in the winter transfer window, and say what we think was the best deal. It could take into account the money versus how the player perform and that kind of stuff. I think I'll kick us off on this one. It was very hard to choose. I had 3 contenders. In 3rd place for me was James Maddison, up there with chances created for most of the league and definitely pushing to be into that England squad. Coming in from Norwich in the Championship, there are a lot of players who struggle to acclimatise to the Premier League from the Championship level, but he has definitely not had that problem. Especially since Brendan Rodgers has taken over at the Foxes, he has definitely been a revelation for them. In 2nd place was for $5 million was John Moutinho at Wolves for me. Great all-round midfielder, 30-year-old. It wasn't sure how he don't make it in the Premier League, but he has been phenomenal next to Ruben Neves. But for me, in number 1, at just $2.52 million was Ben Foster. And just quick visual, I just want to call out some stats here. Ben Foster was tied with David De Gea and Fabianski with 7 clean sheets in the Premier League this year. David De Gea obviously is one of the best keepers in the world, and Fabianski has been somebody who has been getting a lot of plaudits at West Ham himself. He has also made 127 saves, the 3rd most in the Premier League, and at just $2.52 million, he has definitely been a bargain for me. If you watch Watford games, he is phenomenal in that, very commanding of his area. Ironically, against Arsenal, he had a little blunder where we scored from, but other than that, he has been fantastic for the Hornets this season, and he has been my steal of the deal.
Right. For me, my steal of the deal, I have to give it to Lucas Dean. I give it to him because stepping into Everton's side to replace somebody like Leighton Baines. That's big shoes to fill.
Most assists ever for the
favorite.
Yeah.
A fan favorite of Leighton Baines. But from the step, and I know he really came alive coming on to the second half of the season.
Yeah.
But the performances that he had, 4 goals, 4 assists, and just
in some big games too, against like United and stuff.
In some big games, and have been an excellent dead ball specialist. Just being good at good free kick accuracy.
Yeah.
Just Lucas Dean. Just looking at how much he came for, 18 million. You can't get a good left back. In this market for 18 million.
That's true.
But just replacing such an icon like Leighton Baines, and everybody knows his performances in the Premier League throughout time.
Yeah.
But for him just stepping in there, he caught form at the right point in time, and he just showed it. I just say he stepped in big games. I just feel a team like Everton.
Yeah.
That I'm not really known for they're not really a team that would need to look for cheap alternatives or anything.
Yeah.
They're known for
true.
spending money.
Yeah, look at Richarlison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but for them to get left back in that way, it's a lot of clubs in Europe that could look for a player like him. But for me, I feel for him, that would be my steal.
And just like two things I think that really quick, he spent his career, moving around Europe a lot.
Yeah.
Had Barca, Roma, his time in France, and it looks like he really has not just found his level, not that he can't perform at a higher level, but really found a good home. At Everton, and also, like you said, value for money, and that's especially why I chose my option of Ben Foster, because in the very same window where we saw Alisson go for 67.5 million, in the same window we saw Kepa go for 90 million, to get a keeper for 2.5, I believe it was about somewhere between 2 to 4 clean sheets only behind Kepa, where Kepa is in a team that's more possession based. I just thought that was phenomenal, so we're going into a little bit more sad category here, going to disappointing player and team of the year. So Virgil, I think we'll go with disappointing player first. Who was your most disappointing player this year?
Disappointing player. Surprisingly, they didn't have much to choose from, other than from for me, the ones who teams that got relegated, but more notably in Fulham, Year.So, I also give it to Schiller. I think Schiller had his injury, but looking at Year.So, a player with so much promise, and he had potential in that Atletico Madrid side.
Yeah.
To break through to the Argentina squad. And because that player that I used to follow throughout his time then when he made it to Atletico Madrid, when him and Correa end up getting that big chance in a top European team.
Yeah.
I just feel like, for me, that's the player I thought could have come and did more.
Yeah.
He could have come and he could have imposed himself in a side like this, and in a side like Fulham, it wouldn't be hard to be the standout man, to be the star. But I know early in the season he was outshone by Mitrovic a lot, and then coming on to any season, they needed to get I know Ryan Babel came in and he was the source of goals, but for that category it goes hand in hand with the player and the team. Year.So and Fulham all wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Fulham being a side that spent a lot of money, and they cycled through different managers, but mostly they had Ranieri when he came in. A good side to work with, but you could see that, and a lot of good players that they had. Those are players that you could follow, and those are players with a lot of potential. And this would be the perfect side. I just said earlier, Fulham is a side from a team that's not coming here to be able to sit back and defend.
Yeah.
They're being very attacking. They're trying to have a good attacking side with Year.So, Schiller, Mitrovic, but I just feel like in general I could pick a whole side of disappointments from that Fulham team. Everybody on that Fulham side is disappointed. I don't know if it's the wrong manager or something that they need, but just the chemistry was off, but I just sad.
So for my disappointed player, it real hard to see him like this, because I have seen him play for my team and be a monster and be one of the best players in the Premier League, and that is Alexis Sanchez. This summer was the first summer that he really had time off, given that his team didn't go to the World Cup, his country, sorry. And after Copa Americas, after every season, after the World Cup, he never really had time off. The Confederations Cup, he never had any time off. And you can see last season, yes, he was burnt out. Even during his time with Arsenal, he looked disinterested, but you still saw the talent there. Now when he went to United, you didn't see. You see scrapes of it. You saw it in the City United game, but that was about it really. And then preseason came, and under Jose Mourinho, he was actually looking pretty good in preseason. Played in a 3-5-2, playing with Mata, just show off for him, and he was looking really, really good. And I was like, okay, You know, I might not want to see it, but he's gonna be pretty good this season. He's gonna be a key part. You know, a lot of people even talk about putting him in the fantasy, and unfortunately, 1 goal in 20 appearances for the highest earner in the Premier League is inexcusable. And we look now at the problems he's causing off the field for United. They having to pay him, a player who's not playing. But on top of that, you have players like Anders Herrera asking for money because they say, well, if he's doing this much and I'm doing this much, how is he earning this much more than me?
Yeah.
Where they having to let players go because they have to accommodate for his wages, and nobody's going to just take those wages off of him. And why would he leave? He's comfortable. And it's been a really disappointing campaign from the Chilean. You really expected more from him, but 1 solitary goal in 20 appearances, that's really bad. For disappointing team, as I just said, is Fulham for me. They were the 3rd highest spenders in the Premier League this year, amassing more than 10 players in the team this year via different loans and buys and whatnot, buying a number of high-profile players. World Cup winner Andrew Schürrle, Jean-Michael Seri linked with Barcelona before. They managed to keep a hold of young player of the year nominee from last year, Ryan Sessegnon, and all these players have managed to disappoint. You know, we look at Seri with just 1 goal, 1 assist, or somewhere around there. We look at how poor Ryan Sessegnon has been. There hasn't really been much bright lights. They have tried their best to play attacking football at the expense of being defensively solid, and it has been really, really bad. There were many pundits out there, and myself included, expecting them to probably fight to finish in the top half of the table, around the 11th, 12th position, and unfortunately, it just has not come to pass. And we look at the fact that they finished 19th, you know, others finished below them, but you still don't feel as disappointed in Huddersfield as you feel disappointed in Fulham.
Yeah, that's true.
What's your choice?
The same Fulham I'd mentioned, but just to add off what you're saying there, that's another keynote there that money can't really buy your success.
Yep.
But I just say that as well as most pundits would agree with that. It's very disappointing from what they showed.
Yeah.
And they went out and they got a lot of players that need a lot of players that have a lot of potential that was linked with bigger moves.
Yep.
And at the beginning of the season, most people want to think Fulham would have been that team that was promoted and sent back down, because in recent seasons, a lot of teams that have been promoted have fought and stayed, and then did well. They didn't really push for Europe, but they did well in the league, pushing for some mid-table finishes. And the way how Fulham started off the season and the money that they spent and the players they brought in, you'll be like, you would put your money on, all right, Fulham, if not finishing mid-table, at least surviving. And that just very disappointing. Everybody was excited for them to come back, but the same couple of players that they bought, I just ashamed that they have to go on to the championship. But it have no doubts that they're going to dominate the championship again. So maybe they could try again and get it right.
Just a side note, if you have not, I mean, I think at the time that I'll be releasing this, I can't remember the exact date of it, but if you have not been watching the playoffs for the championship, you definitely need to watch them.
Missing out.
There is a off the pitch stories sideline show. The fact that it is John Terry versus Frank Lampard, as John Terry is the assistant manager of Aston Villa. Frank Lampard in his first ever managerial role of Derby County. It is shaping up to be a really great match, and you should definitely check it out.
I know. Disappointing for Leeds.
Yeah, well, I actually feel Bielsa, Leeds manager, I think he would leave Leeds.
Yeah.
And I honestly think Brighton should have hired him instead of hiring this guy from Swansea. Oh my god, I try to remember his name. It's escaping me right now.
I don't know what he's
So last category here would be team of the year. Now, I have a little pet peeve with teams of the years. I really hate to see teams of the years where you push a centre back into a right back and you push attacking a winger into centre mid just because you're trying to fit all these men. So for me now, my formation for my team idea was 4-4-1-1, 4-4-2, but one playing off the other. Edison in goal. Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. A little contentious, but Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. Virgil van Dijk and Ayame Laporte as my two centre backs. Robertson at left back. Fernandinho and Bernardo Silva making up the two in the midfield. With Hazard and Sterling out wide. Sorry, not Hazard. With Mane and Sterling out wide. And for the two on top, Hazard playing just off of Sergio Aguero as the two on top. Now, before anybody say that, say what you say, and Hazard is our winger, for a good part of the season, Hazard has been performing in a false and striker capacity, as well as Sadio Mane, but Hazard more so. And I think, given how well all these players performed, there was a way to fit them into a reasonable team of the year, and hence that was my chosen 11.
Well, for me, my chosen 11, I'll go with a formation 4-3-3.
Right.
Just to rattle off them as well, some stats. For goalkeeper, chose Edison, 20 clean sheets. It was shadowed by Alisson, but as well, my defense for that is that a lot of those clean sheets came from Van Dijk and Edison.
Which is why I chose Edison as well. I think Edison actually had a really underrated camp. He was really, really good in goal.
And Edison have a pivotal role in Pep Guardiola's system, whereas he's the one that starts to build the play.
Yeah.
So just that Edison looking like a midfield
player. And compared to Alisson, Edison actually has assists.
And all that. And looking at going to centre backs, I'll go with Van Dijk and Laporte. Van Dijk rocking the back. Van Dijk, a lot of aerial wins. He has a 4.8 aerial wins per game and 5.2 clearances per game.
Yeah.
And his partner Laporte being that pivotal, having a lot of different partnerships throughout this season with City. He has stayed consistent, and most people might bring up the little blunders he had in Champions League, but sticking to the Premier League, he has been the most consistent defender in a City side, a very competitive City side, where he's came alongside. He started with Stones, a wonderful partnership that they had early on, but so I'll go with him. Right back, I'll go for Trent. Trent Trent 12 assists, and just the ability that he has with those pinpoint crosses. And I know I just said to keep it to the Premier League, but the most recent display was the Champions League. Going to left back, I might have a love for this player, Lucas Digne. I'll put him there, just having a wonderful second half of the season. And in the midfield, I will put Gini Wijnaldum. I'll put him there, and you could just see he's not a player. For me, I'm not a player like Van Dijk, where he's somebody that if left off the side, it might not affect the side as much as Van Dijk, but that's a player with a lot of energy. He's good at winning back the ball, cutting out passes. He just adds a whole different energy to the midfield. A nice box-to-box player when he's ready.
Important goals
he scored. And in the midfield with him, I'll put Bernardo Silva, similar player, high energy. Bernardo Silva has 7 goals, 7 assists, and 86.1 pass succession in the Premier League. And just being that player, that versatile player that can play in the midfield when De Bruyne is out, and just stepping up when De Bruyne was injured. Because we know how important De Bruyne was.
Defensively, he's really good too.
We know how important De Bruyne was last season, but to step in that role and also step on the wing when a lot of players out wide has dipped, and for him just rightly being so a City's player this season, and has a wonderful defensive contribution, although not really needing to be defensive, but that's all Pep Guardiola moves that in all his players. And after I also put James Maddison, similar as Bernardo Silva, 7 goals, 7 assists.
I like that.
James Maddison is another player that I rate highly for this Premier League, because coming from Norwich and just coming into a lesser side and just being a key player they needed, because you know they were weakened when the loss of Marius.
Right, yeah.
But just stepping there, and we know, and sure this season we've talked a lot about him and most of Leicester wins, and 2.8 key passes per game, and as I say, the most assists in Europe.
Most chances created.
Most chances created in Europe. Yeah, most chances created in Europe, rivaling that of Messi.
Yeah.
So that's just a big achievement.
I'm not sure if he ended the season like that.
Yeah,
but I know that
okay.
up until about like February, March, he was keeping pace with Messi, which says a lot.
And well, going to the attack, I have the front three. First of all, I'll have Sadio Mane out on the half money left. Sadio Mane, Golden Boot winner, 22 goals. You know, everybody, all eyes was on Salah throughout this campaign, but Mane stepped up in a lot of big games, I mentioned there. That Mane had came and he was the source of goals. Most things was overshadowed because everybody was looking at Salah for a reaction, but Mane stepped up in a lot of games and was that player for Liverpool for the season.
Yeah.
In all competitions, so much consistency.
And the difference between Mane and Salah is that Salah takes the penalties, Mane doesn't. So for Mane to be level on him, that's contributions from outside of set pieces.
Man, and just watch how Mane play. Mane just a different workhorse in general. Mane, that's one player they cannot knock at all, man. And then on the next side of the wing, I'll have Sterling, 17 goals, 10 assists. Young player of the year, Sterling.
He was really good.
A different monster. 2.6 dribbles per game. As I mentioned, just being that player that could spark a comeback, could spark a win out of nothing. And just to mention that at 2.6 dribbles per game, he was able to get past any player, just being out on that wing. Unpredictable, and he doesn't do much. Just simple switch up pace, drop the shoulder, and just run at players, because that's what Pep wanted from him all the time. That's what most managers back when with Pellegrini, that's what he tried to do, but a lot of things because he needed to work on. He was getting by and he was making the run, making the chances, and the finishing that he worked on, which got him the 17 goals and 20 plus in all competitions, which is a personal best for Sterling. And then in strike, I will have Sergio Aguero just missing out Golden Boot. He just missing out the party by 1 goal. So Sergio Aguero, I have him there. And just all wrong in every game, just being consistent. You know, season before he had a lot of competition with Gabriel Jesus, but still in there, 3.6 shots per game. And he has, I think, out of chances converted. I think chances missed in games was just as low as 10. I could be wrong. I can't remember the exact stat, but I know he had the least compared to players like Mbappe, Messi, but just Sergio just being clinical, finishing up most of his chances. He had less shots than most players per game, but more goals, more conversion of goals. So yeah, I just have to put him up there, and rightly so for being in the PFA team of the year. That'll be my team of the year.
Well, guys, that's it for today. It has really been a while, and we really enjoy being back here. We really hope you guys join us on the 1st of June for our official watch party for the Champions League, where myself, Virgil, and Courtney, we would be doing the pre-game, post-game, and halftime show as well in the food, vibes, live, FIFA, cards, and things afterwards. We hope you guys come out. The location drops this week coming here, so look out for it. Our official website is up. You can now actually Google us, Corner Flag Talk, or just check up cornerflagtalk.squarespace.com. All our information is up there. All our episodes will be there. All events and upcoming plans will be up there. And just catch you guys soon. Follow us everywhere on social media: Facebook, Corner Flag Talk; YouTube, Corner Flag Talks; Twitter and Instagram at Corner Flag Talk. Catch you guys next time. I'll see you guys on the 1st. Take it easy.
Now everybody stay calm, don't raise no alarm. Nothing wrong with dancing. And today I'm feeling to dance. No liquor in me hand, but they can't understand it. So we starting to look like the world with the jump and wave thing, jump and church and a man called David. I feeling to shout and praise him.